Alright. Alright, now for reals. We are actually going to start the show here.
Alright, really reals.
For really reals. Alright, so hello everybody. Welcome to Procedural Powerhouses. This episode is going to be a demonstration of Dungeonmans. And today joining us is actually the Dungeonmans himself, the developer, the guy who made the game, is currently making the game because it's still an awesome work in progress, and that is Jim Shepard, who you see over on my screen right, but down here in the lower left corner. So, it's been an awesome little while you've been working on this. In the little mini pre-show, you're kind of giving some history, so why don't you kind of talk about what's been going on with the game up to this point, how you got from where you're at to where you are, and I'll just start diving into gameplay.
Sure, okay, cool. Well, when XNA first launched, it was late, it was early 2007, somewhere around late 2006 or 2007, somewhere along that line, I decided I wanted a side project at home, because the work I was doing, the gameplay work I was doing, was a little more. I was using Unreal. It was a different system. It was a little more technical. And I wanted to just kind of screw around. So I started messing with XNA, and I always like world creation. I like adventure and roguelikes and that sort of thing. This always became this had become a hobby project for me, just for fun.
Cool.
And in 2010, with the help of some coworkers at the studio I was at the time, and I released a very free for some friends version. It went online. I shared it with some forums that I was in, people who followed roguelikes, and I was this early ass version of Dungeonmans. Most of it was programmer arts. You know, there was no music, there was no sound, but you could dungeon around and fight things. Right, there was a 20-floor dungeon, and that's all. 2012, when I was laid off from Bioware Austin. It was some point after that where I decided, you know, I'm kind of tired of. I was at that point. I was in the AAA industry for 8 years, and I was not really looking forward to wrestling with more layoffs. I thought it was time to try to do my own thing. So, right. September of that year, I went into Dungeonmans full time. Put some money into getting real art. Put some money into getting real music. Put it into Greenlight. Didn't do so good in Greenlight. Learned lessons from that, from how things were. How the Greenlight campaign could have done better. Took that knowledge and ran a Kickstarter last year, just around this time actually, it's almost a year ago. And the Kickstarter succeeded, and with that money I made Dungeonmans, and you're playing it now.
That's totally awesome. Mad thirsty. So I'm using the same combo I did last time, the extra movement and the ability to drink extra potions to compensate for taking more damage. Seems like a pretty effective way to go. Now I'm going with the Dungeonmans, but I'm gonna base it on the Ranger, I think.
Okay. Alright.
Unfortunately, my last one died, and I don't really know.
They do that.
Yeah. They do. So, let's see, it's A, brings this up. So I got 5 points to spend here. So I'm definitely going Rangermans. Gotta learn how to use a bow. That's in Adventure 101.
Yep.
Alright.
Kind of important. Won't be too difficult. Pull back. Pointy end.
Ranger's Focus. That's pretty helpful, but I think I can wait on that one for the moment.
So how many adventures in are you in this academy?
Actually, this is only the second one.
Oh,
I had meant to play it some more during the week here, but, you know, things being what they are. Plus, I figured it'd be a little bit more fun to just kind of continue where I left off live. So, medium armor. That dash is kind of nice.
Yeah.
30% less physical damage, immune to bleeding. So if you're already bleeding, does that remove bleeding?
When you use... That's the heavy armor power, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that one will cure any bleeds that are on you.
Cool. That can be pretty helpful. Physical attack. So, where I was able to have that mobility from Quick Dash, I kind of like the ability to instead get in and bang with the enemies if I need to. So, does it expend a move to equip a shield or remove a shield?
Not yet. It doesn't.
Okay.
It's going to soon.
Yeah.
But it doesn't do that right now.
Okay. And it says not to go with the heavy shield, but like most of the shields I found in the last session were actually heavy shields. I only found the...
That's just luck. They actually drop it equal. In fact, the lighter shields drop more than the heavy shields, but sometimes the dice go the other way.
And the only ones I was finding were those the beaten up ones.
Right.
For the light shields, versus I was finding a wide range of the heavies. Oh well, they just ended up getting scrapped. Extra action following turn. That's pretty cool. Yeah, I think I'm going to go with the heavy armor track.
Okay. So don't forget, with your Ranger Man stuff, you can still use stick and move to get out of trouble, right?
Yeah.
Even though you're wearing full playmail, you can take jumps and whatnot. So you're not limited too much. Medium armor has the quick step, but if you anticipate being surrounded, the heavy armor works great.
Cool deal. Yeah. No, I can usually keep my distance, especially with the that special where I get an extra move about every 5 turns. I can usually keep my distance that way.
Okay.
So that shell breaker is so vital, though. Oh, I thought I put a point in stick and move. I guess I did. Oh, that's right, because I had to get bow. Oh well, that's fine. I'll probably get a level pretty quickly. Cool. So. So the academy, I noticed it expands the more you collect stuff and bring it back. So that's a really cool kind of element to it.
Yeah. That's the idea, is that you have this kind of fortress of learning that you're able to grow as you play, and it grows based on the conquests and adventures of your previous characters. Gotcha. So the better you do, usually you'll in most cases be able to bring back something to make the academy better. Even in some cases, if it's just like, well, I only found a couple proofs of strength for some monster knowledge.
Yeah. The proofs only apply to the character who finds them, right?
No. When you use them, I think you know the answer to that too. When you use them, your character gets a bonus, but they also go in a permanent point stockpile for every future character.
Oh, neato. So I should probably find the 2 or 3 that I left on my last one.
Yeah, those are always useful, and when you use them, every character down the road gets a bonus from them as well.
Cool. So while it definitely comes from like the legacy and lineage of Rogue, it definitely has more of what the kids call Rogue Light these days. That it's not, starting from scratch every time, but instead you have to.
I don't know. I wouldn't call it a roguelike. Some people would. That's fine. It's a matter of that word is so hard to pin down, and everyone's got these ideas of what roguelike and roguelite and what that means. It's got all the core functions, though. The turn-based combat, the depth, the tactics, and the difficulty is there. If you want to start from scratch each life, you can.
Yeah.
No one is forcing you to take the bonuses the Academy gives you. So I wanted people to be able to have that experience, that the roguelike experience, the one where you get your ass kicked and it's permadeath and what the hell happened and I was doing so good. And, that can be pretty jarring, but the Academy gives people who are maybe not ready to dive into that 100%. It gives them the opportunity to say, well, you know what, I'm going to go at it again, and hey, I got this bonus from last time, and maybe I'll have an extra weapon, and let me go do it. It's not like one of those games where you're forced to continue to grow. The really super awesome Rogue Legacy doesn't let you retrograde. Like, as soon as you spend the money, you're stronger.
Right.
So I want people to still feel like there's a challenge here, even if they have the option to, buff up at the beginning. Because that's still, people aren't beating the game in 2 clears, right? It takes a little more effort. Oh, I see here, now the stream is behind, I can tell, but you're going into an overworld encounter first.
Yeah, and this is the very first one of these I've ever seen, so that's kind of neat.
Be careful. Yeah.
Oh, they're fine. I've got a bow.
Okay.
I've got a bow and I'm near town. Therefore, easy.
Yeah, alright.
But the place where my last character died, I don't know if this character is going to be well armed enough to recover previous loot and goodies. I took down the champion of the place, so now it says cleared, but there was a champion in the room with the, like a lesser champion in the room with the greater champion.
The boss, okay.
Yeah.
When you start a new character, it shouldn't say cleared on any place like that. And so there's a bug that if a character hasn't been through personally and cleared it, it shouldn't say cleared.
Gotcha.
It says, I had my friend play Rogue Legacy last night. He kept dying. Yeah, well, it doesn't guarantee success, the auto leveling stuff, but it helps. It helps.
Huh, what's this box up here?
In the top left corner of overworld areas, it looks like there's a box of alchemy supplies. And that's a bug with what's happening is there is a stairway to get out of this floor, right? Mm-hmm. And it's supposed to be invisible, but it's using a sprite which doesn't exist, and so it gets the very first sprite from the sprite list, which is the alchemy kit, the academy item alchemy box. So anytime an object that should have a sprite doesn't, it ends up showing up like that box. It's not actually a box.
Gotcha. Well, that's a good way to do it. At least you got a placeholder. I mean,
it shouldn't be visible at all, right? That's the idea of it.
Yeah.
The game it checks to see if you're at the borders of the map, and if so, it tries to put you in the stairwell, which takes you up back to the main overworld.
So I kind of feel like it's a bug, but the last time I played, there's this weird interaction where I could sometimes get on the same tile as another enemy, and I can't attack them there. I just wait turns.
Yeah, you'd have to move off the tile first, right? That's definitely, it puts the player at a disadvantage. I'm working on something to fix that up. The game doesn't have like a physics system or anything, right? So when multiple things get pushed, the order in which they get pushed can change, and what do they do? Do they stack or whatnot? And I had an idea actually just yesterday for how I might correct that and go through and fix cases where creatures are stuck in the same place. We'll see if I get that into build 1.4.
Cool. See, I figured that it would be either that or going a completely different direction, adding like a new class, Wrestlermans.
Right, where you can grab people and throw them around. Yeah, I mean, you can kind of throw people already with the Southern Gentlemen's, but yeah, Wrestlermans would be would be interesting.
Because then it's a class just completely built on getting in the same tile as them and then doing whatever, using them as a weapon or however the antics would occur at that point. I love the sounds those humans make.
Oh, the bandits, or sorry, the punks?
Yeah.
Boy, yeah. Those dudes. Oh, I see you headed into a dungeon now. Okay, very good.
Yeah.
Still got the shield on and trying to shoot a bow.
Yep. I should probably start backing off a little bit here.
Okay.
Attack there from here. I can at least... No, I don't have a... What does this potion do?
Oh, hey,
burn. Oh, I'm screwed. So, this is how a new character just dies.
I'm not sure. I'm watching the video, though. I'm not sure why you went up and just kept meleeing that guy.
Because I thought he was just going to die real quick.
Oh, well, the glowing red aura around him indicates that he's a champion.
Ah, I didn't even notice that.
Oh, no. Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's too bad.
I just saw a little punk dude and it's like, oh,
I
okay.
heard fire, and yeah, this is... Yeah. Oh, GG.
Yep.
Yeah. Tough for sure to roll out into a further dungeon, unless you really square on your strats and whatnot. Because even that one is still a rookie dungeon, but it was that was not the Oakfells or the Convenience Scroll Warren, which were the first two like Babby training dungeons.
I gotcha. So even though it says cleared on the map, you said that was a bug. I really am supposed to kind of go back through the earlier ones.
Actually, show me that again. Well, I'll see it like 40 seconds later. But when you get Powerhouses 3 into the game and spin it up, it shouldn't say cleared. When you go through a dungeon, it's only cleared for that life. When you come back with your next character, the dungeons have been refilled. And if there's a dungeon that has a boss that beats you or a monster that beats you, it's unavenged, and you have to go through there and pick up the body or the remaining energy from the previous Dungeonmans.
But that's kind of the funny thing. I did beat the boss, but then there was a lesser thing that killed me before I could get like the loot and get out. In fact, that's happened to me both times. I didn't die the first time that it happened, but I beat a boss, and then there were so many enemies around, I was already so beat down from it that I had to just leave and come back.
Sure. So yeah, you can spend these points, and the next character will have them too. You're not permanently spending anything here by doing this.
That's pretty cool. That's definitely a nice way to kind of continue where you left off.
Yeah, I mean it's
Ranger,
2
melee.
points, and then future characters get 1 from that. So you're building up your legacy over time, I guess. But it is also a benefit to the person who brings it back.
For sure. You know, I'm not even going to deal with the shield this time.
Okay. Oh, I saw in the video the warning caught you, which is good. People play Dungeonmans and then they leave. They pick that class, which says, here's 5 points in a backpack full of equipment, and they just leave town and wonder why they get killed. So I started adding the warning when you're like, are you sure you want to go with no equipment and no points? Oh yeah.
It reminds me of the original Final Fantasy. They didn't really tell you about the equipment system, and they didn't really say who could equip what. So unless you had that strategy guide Nintendo Power put out, you were kind of...
Had no idea.
Yeah. That's actually how we acquired the game, is that one of my father's co-workers just said, here, you take it. I don't understand it. You'll probably enjoy it.
Wow, okay.
So,
and look what that started.
yeah, seriously.
Yep.
Turbo. And yesterday's knife. Good enough. And if I melt all the rest of the stuff down, it's pretty much worth nothing, right?
Yeah, the stuff you get from the starter academy isn't worth anything for melting. Or it shouldn't be. If some of it snuck by, then that's okay, but it shouldn't be.
Yeah. Alright, so... into the easy place here. I really like the flavor text in the game. Like, all the writing is just very entertaining.
Cool, man. Thank you.
Is that's all you too?
Yeah, that is. There's a lot of this game. I mean, I'm the day-to-day developer of it, but as you know, the art has come from real artists, from contract artists who've done some really cool stuff. One fellow kind of served as an art director on the team for a good long while. He's a very good friend of mine, Jeremy Cook. He actually created the logo back in 2010. For Dungeonmans, and we used it in that very early release. But after the Kickstarter, he had the time to get in for a while and help make some really awesome stuff and set the tone for other contractors who got on to say, okay, this is what the game looks like, right?
Gotcha.
So there's that, and the music is done by Andrew Aversa, who is just awesome.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah, man, I'm very surprised. The depth of what the guy can do. He's got a million different soundtracks, and he goes all over the place, from really awesome EDM to this sort of stuff to other classical movements. Is just wild. But for this game, we both agreed pretty quick on what it should sound like, the kind of era of game it should sound like, and Suikoden 2 early PS1 style games. And so he went with that, and the results have been pretty rad. I'm very, very happy with the soundtrack.
It's a pretty awesome soundtrack. Just the intro screen itself, it's like, okay, this game's awesome.
Yeah, it works out good. Some of the way he layers themes together, like when you play the game and you listen to the overworld theme, it's like it's like 4 minutes long. It's this big sweeping theme, and then as you go into these dungeons, pieces of other themes of the game find their way into the dungeon themes, and now you realize you're hearing something, and like the overworld actually is a collection of all the different pieces in the game.
Nice.
The academy theme represented when you kill a boss, it plays that little stinger is based on that theme.
That's really cool. So all the music interactions, is that stuff that you programmed in, or was that stuff that he was able to help with?
Well, when it comes to actually getting the stuff in the game, that's still all on me.
Yeah.
He provides WAV files and such. And actually, we both have used Exact. This is XNA's sound packager. He's familiar with that, but I mean, this is my full-time project, and for him, it's still contract work.
Right.
Even though we've done a lot of stuff together, actually, we've worked on. He feels like a big part of the project, but it's just a contract thing. He and I have sat down to go over some design stuff from time to time, because he's really excited about the people playing it, just like I am. We're both really stoked to see who's playing the game and what they're doing, and so we talk from time to time about people's behaviors and what feats can be changed and whatnot.
I gotcha. So the roguelike element that definitely does come through from life to life, that's very obvious, is that you don't know what any of the potions or anything does.
Until you get the alchemy lab.
Oh yeah.
Fixed up, right, yeah. Yeah, you just start with, you start out with the potions and scrolls unidentified, and there's that little mystery of what does this do. With the exception of the heartburn potion, none of them hurt you. The heartburn potion does light you on fire, which is kind of crappy. However, it does give you resistance to ice damage, and it does increase your damage to have fire on it. So even though it's not exactly what you want to drink by surprise, it can prove useful, especially in later dungeons when you're facing off against monsters who use a lot of cold damage.
Yeah,
there's some value to it there.
That makes sense.
Yeah, it was, for the longest time, it was just a potion that kind of said screw you when you drink it. It was sort of like, aha, you take damage, and then, well, is that any fun? Like, can we make it better? And so we did. Tanis X2 asks, did you ever think to make an enemy that looks like money piles? That's the mimics are pretty cool. I think that having a little set of coins that sprang to life and chased after you could be kind of neat for sure. It would need to be more than just a gimmick. Like when you see it for the first time, you're like, oh, you're trapped. But we don't want players to be constantly afraid of every piece of gold on the ground, because there's a lot of it. The dungeon you're seeing right now, the Scrollbolt Warren, is less monster choked than some of the later areas, and there's just coin and loot everywhere. Go ahead.
We would need the ability to shoot at arbitrary targets, like just fire a shot at an item, but then it would be able to have to take damage. That's kind of the trick with Sword of the Stars, the Pit, is that any machine could be one of those adapter things that just spikes you for a bunch of damage and melts all your equipment. But if you smack everything, you could break everything before you get into it.
Yeah, that's kind of a lose-lose. I understand that there's the idea of checking for traps and being very cautious. That's important. But if there's a lot of encounters where the player has to take a gamble, and they're going to end up really sad because they took the gamble. So it's not even like there's a big reward. It's like, is that thing a monster or not? Do I shoot it? Well, I broke it. Right. It wasn't a monster. Oh, darn. You never end up feeling very good about that. And I try to avoid those sort of catch-22s.
I gotcha. It would have to be something really obvious, like something that's totally not a treasure chest that matches the aesthetic of the dungeon they're in.
Right. Like a really poor replica of a treasure chest, perhaps. Yeah. A cardboard box with the word loot scrabbled on it. That'd be a little more obvious, but I think that there's a couple of there's three monsters in particular that are kind of tricksy, and they're not in the game yet. And it's a matter of getting the art for them, because these are specialized humanoid monsters that do things. And one of them I can tell you about is the cartographage. And when it gets close enough to you, within 2 tiles, it steals your map. It steals your map away out of your backpack, and you can see the map flying through the air into its hands. And your map is then reset, right? It's just back to what you had when you first came in. And so you got to chase him down and kill him, and when you kill him, you get your map back. And when you get your map back, you can see everything that you saw before, but he runs away with it as soon as he has it. He takes off. And he may eat it eventually. The whole idea of the cartographage is he eats maps. Yeah. So he may end up chewing on it before he gets, before too long, if you don't chase him and beat him down.
That's a really cool mechanic.
We'll see. I don't want it to be too annoying either. If it's the idea of having something that runs away from you that you want to chase, that can be kind of fun. But if it's always happening, it's also a pain because the reward should be pretty good. Running around blindly in a dungeon gets you killed, right? So that's not something players will do often.
They would have to be really, really weak or something. That if they sneak up on you or something, they're kind of weak and kind of fast, maybe.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. How much Left 4 Dead have you played?
I haven't really played that much of it, but I've definitely seen some plenty of sessions of it.
So there's a monster they introduced in one of their later expansions where it's just another survivor. It's a guy covered in medkits and bullets, and he runs away from you super fast. And obviously you want all the stuff he has, so you're inclined to chase him and shoot him down. But no sooner does he turn the corner than a horde of monsters shows up, right? So the idea of like, chase this guy, he's got loot, like that's something they added there, and it's been you see it again in the Treasure Goblin in Diablo 3. You know, chase that guy, he's got loot. That's a pretty common theme.
That just reminds me now of Golden Axe, the little Nomi dudes.
Shit you got to kick around. Yeah, you kick them for their and then that's true. They can steal your potions when between levels, and if you don't get them back, then you don't get them back too bad.
Yep. And as the game goes on, you could smack them more and get more out of them. So that was always a nice mechanic. Yeah. So this the earlier dungeon here, I mean, even though it's pretty easy and I'm killing the stuff pretty quickly, it's still something where there's definitely a lot of kind of going through the rounds, making sure to get everything and not get ambushed too much. This is
the tutorial dungeon, right? This is like the puppy cave of Dungeonmans, as the phrase goes. So it's different from most dungeons in that it's a very big open space, and you don't see a lot of hallways, right? If you've noticed, it's not like there's the room hallway stuff you see in a lot of dungeons. And the reason for that is because I want players to start thinking right from the beginning, what else can I do besides cram them into a hallway? Because we all know cram them into a hallway is how you win, right? Conga line of death. You want to have them all in the hallway and just sit there and beat them down as they come to you.
Yeah.
But when the game starts you with powers like quick dash and stick and move that get you to move around, when you start with shield rush, it gets you to charge into a monster. I want players to start thinking about mobility first before they start worrying about can I back this guy into a hallway. There's plenty of time for that later.
I gotcha. Yeah, field work, huh?
Yeah, those are there's certainly secondary trees, field work, and what's field work and advanced delving, right? They're not primary damage dealing power trees, but they do have uses. They do end up making you stronger in the long run, and the read the sky can be pretty interesting too. There's some unique stuff that only happens if you have that power unlocked.
Huh. That's neat. I don't think I'm ready to put points into that sort of stuff yet, though.
You probably want to build your character out first. I mean, it takes a few points to get to the build exactly where you want it to be, and then you can start thinking about ancillary stuff like that.
Press the attack, close in on enemies, and attack in one action. That's not a bad ability.
So,
that
what are you
costs a
doing here?
lot,
Is this?
though.
It's bow and two-handed weapon.
Bow and one-handed.
Well then, yeah, you don't want to press the attack, right? Because that's a two-handed weapon power.
Yeah. Okay.
If you're doing bow and one-handed, well, you're taking the shield and flipping it on and off.
Actually, I haven't even been. I didn't put any points in the shield.
Well, then you could also think about dual wielding, because the dual wielding, the first power there, think that's dashing charge, right? Or maybe it's Razor Fury.
Yeah.
But if you end up close to something, at least you've got a weapon in each hand to chop people up with.
Oh, so that doesn't conflict with the bow?
No, you can dual wield. You just can't hold a shield and use a bow.
Oh, okay. Well, that's awfully nice. Yeah. I think I got to get that going then.
What happened was originally you could use a shield with a bow, because I was like, well, Dungeonmans will let you mix and match powers, right? So why should you feel stuck if you pick this power? You can't use a bow now. That's no fun. However, bow and shield just became too strong. It was just you could hit things from really far away and then block, and your armor was up high, and it just was too much. So I had to make the decision to say you can't fire a bow if you're using a shield, and that's kind of lame, but it made things better. It made people start looking into different builds, because for a while that was like the dominant build. There was no question.
Oh yeah, no, I would probably use that build too. So it definitely makes sense to limit that. Now, when I think about that, I think about the kind of balancing act of like, well, you could have a smaller shield like a buckler, but you'd have to really balance it down, and then the progression for what shields you can get into and all the pacing. It doesn't seem like it would really be a worthwhile balancing act to try to do. I think this is a good way to do it.
It actually was at first. It was okay, you can't use large shields in a bow. And so people still use the regular shield in a bow, and it was just fine. And large shields, honestly, that whole thing about small and large shields comes from a time when the game's development was less concrete, and it doesn't. When you put the extra point into shields to say I'm using a large shield now, how are you different from one who doesn't? And the answer is, well, I use a different shield, but you don't have different powers. You don't have a different play style. It doesn't change the way you think or move. So that's why it sucks. That's why it says don't put points in this. It sucks, right? Because it says right in the screen. There's a warning there. You should put points in large shield. And I still hold to that. They're not ready to be awesome yet. So they'll get there. They'll get there soon, but they're not there yet.
I gotcha. Yeah, that was the thing I was kind of wondering about. It's like, well, they've got more defense. Why wouldn't I use that then? But I can see it's just as much about the abilities. You're
spending a point to get stuff that's. I mean, yes, by having that point spent, you could find a better shield that will help you out. But I think the point could be better spent almost anywhere else.
Gotcha. Like how the loot flips out of the mobs. Yeah. It's pretty entertaining.
That wasn't in for a long time. That happened in December, actually, of last year. Jeremy, the fellow I was talking about earlier, who was doing some art stuff with me, actually came to visit for a couple of weeks, and we got to do Mad Game development in the same house, which we hadn't had that done in a long time. I had made stuff with him in a long time. It was really nice. But one of the things is, what if the loot just popped out of the bodies? Can we just do that? And it took less than a day to really get it going. And I would need to make treasure chests do it too, right? When you find a treasure chest, right now it just opens and you get the loot, but the chest should make everything pop out.
Yeah, that'd be pretty sweet. And also, it's one of those really satisfying things when you take down the boss in the place and all the stuff just kind of flies around everywhere.
Right. Yeah, it's a big loot explosion with the bosses. Yep.
So I noticed stick and move is like a 7 square kind of radius. It doesn't let you go kind of outside of that. It's just a box.
It's a 3 tile movement is the range. So yes, technically 7 radius, right? Because it's 3 in front, 3 in back, and you're in the center.
Yeah.
But yeah, stick and move is 3 tiles.
Okay. Because I kind of think of it like, I guess being a little bit weird, I think of like a Shining Force and those kind of games where it spreads out in more of a radius rather than just being a box.
Right. If it was truly using distance, it would do that. It uses flat tile distance, which is like, it just doesn't. Diagonals count for the same distance as horizontal or vertical movement, and we know that's not true in real life, right? But that's how it works in this game. And the primary reason for that was because directed powers suddenly got nerfed when they were aimed diagonally and using true geometry, like Shining Force, like you said, Shining Force style, where your radius is actually, or like for instance, being able to jump 3 squares diagonally. That's actually what 3.8 tiles really in real distance, right? So there's some hacks going on there in terms of spatial positioning, but it's okay.
Cool. So that's just it's everything is relative to that. It isn't some things that have the radius and some things that have a square.
I don't think you'll find anything that has a radius that isn't a 4-sided shape.
Okay.
There are like bursts, right, that come out in a cone or something, and there are crosses or lines. But in terms of area stuff, I don't think we do a lot of circles. I can't think of where I put a circle in.
Okay, good to know. Good to know. Oh yeah, that's right. I've got dual wielding. I should put 2 weapons on.
Why not?
Tin steel slam. I'll just identify that stuff afterward. I like that you have to go all the way back if you want the free identify.
Yeah, it was identifying stuff while you're in the dungeon still feels to me like it's okay to do, because you've got the scrolls, what I use them on, and you kind of say, oh well, you know, I have healing potions. Whatever these are, I don't want to waste a scroll on them, and they're probably good, but they're not as good as a healing potion. I've got that. I know what I need. Let's go. But when you leave, it's less fun, right? People in these games usually go to a town and pay someone to identify or whatever. I think here, just going to the academy and saying, hey, what is all this stuff? That made the most sense to me. So that, I just saw that dude slide in and hit you, even though he wasn't close enough to you. And he uses old rush code that's not updated to actually see if you connect with the person or not. Because he'll do that charge and rush at you, but then hit a stalactite in the way or something, and somehow you still get hit. It's, you know.
Yeah, those dragony things that you see maybe a little bit further in were doing the same sort of stuff where they rush at you and then flip you somewhere.
Yeah.
So I was seeing a lot of that kind of weirdness too.
That's by design. Like that one is where they're supposed to hit you and toss you over their head, right? They have that big slanted forehead, and they run in and toss you behind them. And the reason he does that is because when you open a door and there's a bunch of monsters, the first instinct is to run away or close the door. Usually some players will back up, and the pangolin wants you to not back up. It wants to throw you into the fight, which is why he does that.
I don't know, I personally was finding them pretty easy because they would just flip me away from them so I could hit them from a distance.
And so that's the thing, is when there's just one of them, it's no big deal. But when they're in a group, they have the opportunity to mess up your position. So it's something to keep in mind. I mean, that's not like the most tactical set of decision making ever, but it certainly means that when you're evaluating 3 or 4 monsters, who do I crush first and where do I go, is more flavorful.
Yeah, for sure.
Hey, labels too. Hello. Thanks for coming by.
Yeah, he's pretty cool. He makes labels. That's what he does. Very awesome ones. I've got these foil ones here. I'm not going to bring them up right now, but I was working on the. Actually, I think I will show off the.
Oh, sure.
Just the gorilla head itself here. This is, you might not be able to see it very well. It's on like a kind of rainbowy background there.
Is it the gorilla head? I can't see it in the video yet, but is it the gorilla head that you're using on your stream?
Yeah, it's a black and white version. Okay. Kick your ass and use whatever copper falls out to buy a sandwich. I really like that line. There's one that my father used to use for long boss fights, and I feel like Vindictus is one of the games where I really felt it the most. Was kicking your ass, or I should have brought a sack lunch because kicking your ass is an all-day job.
Right.
So.
That's funny. Yeah. That is funny.
Vindictus in particular, because those bosses, especially like when you're really early on, there's only 2 people in the party or whatever, it takes a while to chip them down.
Man, it really does. It really does. I've actually been playing. My girlfriend and I have been playing Divinity: Original Sin. It's a relatively recent launch, right? It was big in the Steam sale. It is such an old school RPG, but it's fully co-op, and it's the best co-op RPGing LAN experience I think I've ever had. It's just amazing. So if you're down, you mentioned playing with your dad. If you're down with old RPGs and he's still into playing role-playing games, man, Divinity is such a treat.
Oh, I wish. No, he hasn't been playing games for many years now, unfortunately.
I see. Yep. Yeah, my dad got me into video games too when I was young. Hold up to the camera this patch, which is a River Raiders patch from the 2600. He and I would play River Raiders, and
nice.
Back then, when you got a high score, you took a picture of the Polaroid and you mailed that shit in, and they would send you back an actual patch. So I keep this with me. At every place I've worked, I brought this patch around with me because it's a reminder of a few things. It's one, remember when Activision was cool, right? There's the top, like, how easy is it to be good and then be hated, right? Later down the road. And it also reminds me of my dad, and it makes me think of patches too. A patch used to be something awesome.
Yeah.
You want on your sleeve, but now a patch means, oh, I screwed up, I got to put it in the patch. And this is kind of to reminding me, try not to make patches that you're ashamed of. Don't make mistakes that end up being bad patches. Make cool stuff.
Hey, wait a minute! I just beat the boss, and there's no teleporter.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, that's cool.
Well, you'll see it in a second.
Yeah. Okay, I'm seeing the video. He just blew up.
Hey, that's my first purloined inventory.
Yeah, looking at stuff, and there's no nothing. I wonder what happened. Go.
Oh, there it is. That was where I first engaged him down there.
Is it between? I'm sure the video will show me. Is it between those 4 posts?
No, it's actually down below a little bit.
Weird. Okay. Well, yeah, when you blow the boss up, the portal should appear where he spawned.
Oh,
okay. I guess it makes more sense for it to appear where maybe he got killed.
Yeah, I thought that's where it appeared before, but I guess I would kill them where they spawned the last 2 times I did it.
Yeah. That's okay. Yeah, where you're looking at now, that's the place where the monster spawns. I can see it now. The 4 pillars nearby are the indicator that the boss is within range. So, oh, and look, there's even there's a campfire in the wall too. Man, gotta fix that up.
Collect up the rest of what I can here before I head on back.
Sure, yeah, absolutely.
I'm pretty sure there's not too much that can really take me out at this point.
So you ever thought of putting those powers into hotkeys, perhaps? Like I see using the mouse to click around, but you can drag them into the hotbar on the left-hand side and then use like 1, 2, 3, 4 to fire them off instantly.
Oh, neat.
Yeah. So you can even do that. You don't even need to use the mouse to do that, but if you use the mouse, you can bring that up and then just drag a power off that menu into the bar, and then the number key will select it and fire for you. Yeah, the range class is kind of easy. I won't lie. It makes the early game maybe a little easier than I'd like. I still have plenty of people telling me like, "Oh, this game's too hard," "Oh, it's killing me all the time," and I listen to that and I kind of say, well, it's a roguelike, it's going to be tough. There's way harder roguelikes in the world, right? So this is not even this doesn't approach the brutal difficulty of some of those out there.
Right.
But the Rangermans is certainly like kind of a I'm just learning mode. I don't want to get too close to the monsters mode. I want to shoot them with my arrows and stay far away.
Yeah, or also being able to get away because your loot's not powerful enough to take things down.
Right.
So, is there any metrics you have on what classes get played the most and how far they get, or anything like that?
So the average hero doesn't make it very far, because when you take the sum total of players who play the game, you've got so many deaths at level 1 and 2, it really skews it, right? It really skews the system. But most people who figure out how to play the game and start getting past level 2 and 3 end up hitting another wall around 7 or 8, and there is a real issue with balance in the game down the road. It goes from too easy to too hard. Some monsters at that tier are too easy, some monsters at that tier are too hard, and I haven't found a sweet spot yet. And the reason for that is because the level band, so like if you're level 8 and there's a level 10 monster, what does it mean that they're 2 levels higher than you, right? Like how important is that? In a game like, Warcraft, where it's 1 to 90, like 2 levels is nothing much. But in something where you only have 15 levels, 2 levels seems like a lot. So the monsters scale in difficulty pretty quick. But you'll see a wide range of monsters when you're in a dungeon. So you might see stuff that's 2 below you or 2 higher than you. And I need to make that a little smoother so that you never feel, unless the monster is intentionally out of depth and super hard, or if you're if you're being a dumbass and getting in over your head. If either of those two things are true, yeah, you deserve to get screwed. But if you're doing it right, you should have stiff challenge. You shouldn't have out of nowhere ass kickings.
Is there really a difference between a sword and an axe?
It's very subtle, and it's not displayed in game. What it used to be was this: the sword had a little better chance to hit, the axe had a little higher crit chance, and the hammers break through armor a little more. But those are all behind the scenes numbers, and so that means they're useless, right? They need to be displayed in some method the player can see. If you press spacebar right now, you see a kind of lackluster broken menu, and that's going to be the full character sheet.
Oh, okay.
Spacebar, and so you'll see more detailed stuff that you can mouse over for tips and everything. But yeah, right now that's behind the scenes and not well represented.
Gotcha. Okay. Cool. Good to know. So I got some more equipment here. Doesn't look like there's any upgrades though.
Probably not.
Oh, well, at least I got some pants now. Cool. And I just melted all down. Might as well. I'm glad that the tin steel and beryllium get left back here instead of being held on the character.
No, that all gets stored there. Hey, Tannis X2S, do you mind telling us what you made this game with? Absolutely, no problem at all. I do not mind. The game is built on top of XNA. XNA was the Microsoft's free game development engine, which has a renderer and an input collection system and a sound system, and that's kind of it. From there, go nuts, do what you want. And so I've been building on top of that for a long time, making the game systems that go in there. It's written in C#. That's the language that XNA uses, and it's Windows only right now. And there are other solutions out there for using C# to make non-Windows games. And if I had started Dungeonmans from scratch in 2012, maybe I'd be working in Unity instead of XNA, but I didn't want to do that thing people do where they're like, well, we're going to rebuild the game from the ground up, and it's terrible. So much of that happens, and more often than not, you end up with an unfinished project forever. Yeah, XNA 4.0, Tannis, that's correct.
I have seen that happen a lot of times.
Yeah, and it's done with the best intentions too, right? It's done with people thinking, now we're going to do it right. And for the most part, the stuff they end up rewriting is really smart, right? You've got really good, but it's really hard to rebuild stuff and to carry a game to where it used to be is not as easy as people think.
Yeah. I mean, I see a lot of times when somebody would want to do that, and sometimes it's trying to rebuild that classic functionality. But then I've seen a lot of games where it's like, no, it was broken the first time, and we got lucky that it went as far as it did. Like that's pretty much the story with the Binding of Isaac and the Rebirth version. Is that Ed McMillan was really kind of tired of not being able to go forward anymore with the limitations of Flash and not being able to have good controller input.
Sure.
So that's where kind of moving towards Rebirth came from. It's not a sequel. There's still a Binding of Isaac 2 apparently that's going to come at some point down the road,
right?
Allegedly. But instead of trying to rebuild the old thing, he took the ideas of the old game and built everything anew.
Okay. Yeah. That is a huge update. Good Lord, Rebirth is massive. There's a lot of stuff going into that. Tannis, you say you also try to work with XNA 4.0. Very good. I don't think XNA has a lot of life left in it, right? When you think about, is it going to be the thing to use next year or even later this year? The answer is, well, probably not so much. However, it's still very good. It was very good when it happened, when it launched. And you can do a lot of stuff with it. And best of all, the things you learned writing in XNA in C#, you can carry over to other engines as well that use C#. And I think Unity is the big one that uses C# for development. So
the last time I went in this encounter, I wasn't totally ambushed by everything at the gate, but that's totally fine.
Okay. I'm assuming you're getting an overworld encounter?
Yeah.
See, I'm not sure why it starts you in the middle. That's another bug.
No, this isn't an overworld. This is the...
Yeah, I'm watching it now. The roadblock, sorry. The roadblock. you're ending up starting in the middle of it instead of at the far left end, which is where you should be starting.
No, I think I'm in the middle, or the far left end rather. Let's see. Oh no, it did put me in the middle.
Yeah, see, that's kind of yeah. Well, if you use Tanis, you said use Visual Basic.net with XMA 4.0. Okay, that's cool. You know that you can certainly make some stuff there, but I think depending on how hard you want to push yourself, learning C# will pay off in the long run. My very first language was Basic. You know, I started with Basic when I was much younger, and I even used Visual Basic in '97. I used Visual Basic to make some very simple games. But if you try C# and beat your head against it and get really frustrated and spend those hours going, why can't I figure this out? When you do figure it out, eventually you're going to feel a lot better, and you're going to carry that. You can do it. You can now use that in other projects as well. So that's my 2 cents on that for you. I think it's very cool that you're getting into game making. Reese, I'm going to do something here. I'm going to take a couple of Steam keys. I'm going to paste them into Skype so you have them.
Okie dokie.
And then later, at some point, whenever you feel like it, you can maybe hand. I don't know if you do raffles or giveaways or whatnot, but you've got 2 there to do with as you wish. So
cool
those are for your listeners. And yeah, like I said, I got to kind of bounce around 5 o'clock for other stuff I have going on this evening. But I was really flattered that you invited me on, and I'm very cool thing you're putting on here with the show.
Oh, well, thank you. I really appreciate it, and I really appreciate having you on here. It's I would love to be able to have awesome developers on every week, but it's kind of hard to get in contact with a lot of people sometimes. So the fact that you kind of heard of the show and been interested really helped.
I came by here because I think the first time I came by, you were playing Cray, was it Kriya?
Kriya,
and
yeah.
I was just in the mood. I'm like, I wonder if people are streaming this kind of game, and I just poked around and I saw, oh, what's this? And that's how I kind of stumbled across your stream. But yeah, man, I understand what you're saying about getting hard to get a hold of people. It certainly can be. It depends on how much they're how much desire they have to be hustling right now. Like it's the weekend, right? I worked 5 days this week. I want to take the weekend off, but sometimes you have to help get the word out. Got to bang the drum, and it's very important. So I appreciate you giving me the opportunity to share the game with some more cool folks.
Oh, that's a funny bug. You see this is happening here? When I shoot the wooden barricade, the arrow goes off to the upper left.
Yeah. I have that one sitting in the backlog. It's funny to me that the barricades bleed. you can beat them up and blood comes flying out of the wood. That's still
well, they're classified as enemies, so they're going to behave like enemies.
Right. So why not? Yeah, that's definitely. I'm seeing it on the video. Yeah, that's busted.
Yeah.
But that's a minor bug for me. That's not as important as some of the other stuff that's really.
I do like the idea of when things block an arrow, having it deflect off like that. It kind of reminds me of like Mega Man when you hit a surface that you can't damage.
You hear that ting ting ting? Yeah.
Yep.
I would like when you shoot an arrow at something that gets parried or blocked, for the arrow to kind of just like spin and fall off of them, like pew, like a bullet just does nothing. That's a little ways down the road, but I think I can make that happen.
That'd be pretty awesome.
All right, man. I gotta bounce. Thank you so much. I really appreciate this.
It has been absolutely awesome having you here, and when you've got some more stuff to show off, when the game's further along and things, and you're really, really happy about with what's been going on with it, I'd love to have you come back on here for some more time.
Awesome, dude. You will hear from me then. Thank you very much.
Cool deal. All right. I will see you later.
Bye-bye. Camera's still on, pointing at me.
Yeah. Here.
Try this.
Let me just. I can just hang up the call.
I thought it was up. Man, I even closed all the windows. What's going on here?
There we go. All right. So I am just going to get all of that stuff out of the way. Let's see. Dink, 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 dink. Hey, wait a minute. And there we go. Okay. All right. So, I am going to do a giveaway here. We're going to do a... just a random number 1 to 100. So, best of luck to everybody here to be able to score a copy of this awesome game. And then we will continue. Cool deal. Alright. So we've got, I think, some stuff to identify. And yes, this is a game that can just be played with the mouse very casually. ID stuff, and brought some relics, and hold on down. Do I still have? I'm good there. Let's get my strength up for now. And we'll continue. Yep, here's the graveyard. See what this guy has to say. Third time's a charm. I wonder if you have to buy a graveyard expansion at some point. Oh yeah. That's pretty helpful. Pretty helpful. So if I need an absolutely guaranteed hit shot, that would be the one to use. That might be a fun one to build up into. I'm just going to keep working my archery then. Someone will get it. Someone's close. Hey, congrats, Paramus. I will send that to you when the show is over. Congrats. I wouldn't necessarily say it's trivial in here. The one who killed him was down here, if I know. The map's different this time. That's fine. Makes sense. Yee. Oi. I like the little blood chunklets that fly around. Hey. Alright. Hey. Don't know why it's called puppy mold. I should have asked. Was that a town guard shield? Shellbreaker. Now the armor's down. Go. Stick and move. To here, I guess. They're dead. So that one wasn't too tough. Even though 2 lives ago, I'm pretty sure this is the place that killed that champion, or that character of mine, so I don't know how the damage actually scales and the difficulty actually scales. Things kind of build up differently and at different difficulty levels. But that's fine. I'm gonna finish out the floor here and then get on going. Too worried about the overworld encounters. Maybe I should be. Let's see what one of these is all about. It's not something you can enter, it's just a mountain. Alright, well. I'm gonna head back one time. Handle stuff, sell some stuff. Chill flaming. think it's better than that. Alright, so I'll melt that gear down. Melt it all down. Okay. Man, this place really has room to expand. Okay. Let's see what this place is all about. Plated. Already wearing that. Whack. Not so bad so far. Petri plate, hey, how's it going? Welcome, welcome. So, just gonna keep on traveling around. I'm gonna go through these doors here pretty soon. Just gotta make sure I keep taking everything down. Along the way. A useless door, huh? There we go. Give me the loot. Unidentified splinter grip chopper. I'll just wait until I get back. That's not something super powerful to get into. Oh, cool. It's a lot of fun. So you missed the first hour. Jim Shepard was actually in here, the maker of the game. So you can always tune in and or check the recordings later and see the stuff that you missed. There's a bunch of doors back there. Yeah, I'm gonna do them. Alright. Now we got some doors up here. Most of these creatures don't even last that long. But this is just the first floor. It will get tougher as I go down. Oi! Still just tin steel, that's fine. Oh no. That stinks. You know, level 6 isn't actually that hard to get to. What am I now? I'm level 4, and it's only been an hour and 15 minutes, and even some of that I died on the first character, so it's really only been about an hour on this character, if that. Alright, one more door and then I shall descend. Hey, stop that. Cool. Moving down. Hey. Bolster armor, that's nice. Got a spell to upgrade stuff. Negative 450 cryoscience, nice. Sure. I should probably save it for more powerful stuff. Super fluid. It's 10 dodge. Now that's actually pretty damn worthwhile. That might even be more worthwhile than next piece. Well, actually, it's 5%. It's not 5 points. Percents aren't always that big. Easy enough. So they're still not that tough of threats yet. Detecting something. What's the furthest you've gotten a character so far, Petrie? Bees. Still just blasting through most of this stuff. I think that's one of the major advantages with the ranged class is you can just take things out before they even get you this early on. Six was your furthest? Okay. Hedgehog blue. Nice. Alright, girl. Rallies with the punk rock song. Neat. Now this kind of looks like a smaller floor. Hey. Nice. Did the game crash because you killed something too hard or something? Damn. I was gonna say, I thought sure those bees shot stuff, but no, I think that might be a different game I'm thinking of, or at least the tougher bees later. Oh, I'm the wanker. I think, Raise of Fury. I'll just cut everything down, because I can. Hey, a banded waist guard. That's lovely. So that wasn't the boss, that was just a lesser champion. Which means when I descend further, I might start really getting my ass kicked. We shall see. Yep, there's a tougher creature already. I'm going to stick and move to here. I'm going to put on Battle Fervor for some defense, Raise of Fury, and just start cutting these things to pieces. I'm gonna put a Shellbreaker into you. There we go. That wasn't so bad, was it? Oh yeah, Trigers. Trigers are not nice. They do attack 9 times. No, banded waist guard seem to be better. I should go up and identify everything. But I'm gonna be a little ballsy for a moment here. Razor Fury go and just slash and mash for a moment. I think I am gonna head up though. Get the character a little bit tougher. And then come back down and finish this place. Okay, so I'll just keep on moving up then. Get on out for a moment, head back. Like I said. Bloody hell to you too, buddy. Alright, heading back. Back. Alright. You there, sir. Brought some relics. And ID my stuff. That is one powerful weapon. Okay, not really messing with two-handers. Slightly better bow. I should have been using a discount short bow from the beginning. Okay. Antiseptic fluid, huh? Not really using shields. Use that on these shoes. Fluid sturdy, huh? Block and dodge. Cool deal. Bees, please. Oh yeah, a book. This is the first time I've actually come back with the book. Hey, out of the way, you. So, you. Bring him to you, huh? Books to the library. Tome Raider, good one. Some identified and some heat curse, nice. The gurgling mediocre glimpse. Nice. Cool. Alright. Did I turn any more proofs of strength? Yeah. I'll just get one more up in here. Yeah. Alright. No new ability still. Back to it. So I'll either finish this place or die trying. Was it here again? Oh, yeah, it's on the right. Okay, screw you. Yeah, that guy did a lot of damage. I gotta definitely be careful when I'm near stuff. Considering food's not a consideration, I can just sit here and heal before I go down. Back down here. Must be very cautious as I proceed. Not so bad. Especially now that I've got my melee weapon up, so I'm hitting a hell of a lot harder. That's worth an identify. Chill flaming? Yes. Bam. Huge damage up. There we go. Yeah, fire and ice damage. Stick and move. I guess I want to just move to here. There. That cleared those two out. Now I can Shellbreaker. I just can take them out. Now that you're all the way over there, I can just pick you off and slash you when you're close. Not so bad at all. Oop. Ooh. Hey, it's the champion. Stick and move. It's a champion. Stinkjaw. Many feather shooting stands. Shellbreaker shot. Oops. Stick and move again. It's gonna be expensive. Damn. Oh, you're dead. And you, I think I can just stand and bang with here. But I'm gonna Razor Fury just to be safe. I like rings. Some good stuff here. Mysterious ring. Do I have an identify on me? Yes. Mysterious ring. Accurate. Damage up. Yes. Yes! War Reaver. No. Get a little stamina going again here. I think that means there's another floor still. The lizard man, so stick and move, get myself some more distance. Razor Fury. And I'll just cut you up. Oh, whack. I keep forgetting, I can actually use stick and move as an enter if I want to. And for a dual wield build, that actually is a pretty cheap entry. There's gotta be more to this place. See, like this, I can stick and move right next to him. I shot the arrow as well as getting on top of them to whack them. So that's a pretty effective way to kind of close the distance there. Of course, in this situation, I'm trying to do the opposite. Haha. It is easier just to cut them to pieces. I do a lot of melee damage relatively. Yes! Level up. Level up. I'm hoping it's going to be a nice boss killer ability. Sure takes enough stamina to fire it off. Chomp chirp. Okay. Battle Fervor. Razor Fury. I can just kind of stand and deliver, can't I? Yes, I can. Nice. Some better chest armor. That's worth identifying and putting on right meow. Well, hell yes. That is a huge up. Yeah, nothing's gonna come close there. No new ranged weapons. Cool. I'm in pretty good shape here. I guess relative to the challenge level of the place in particular. Some Rebels leather. Mysterious artifact from history. Nice, nice. Oi, oi, oi. Just another speed bump on the way to the level cap. So let's start with that. Now, oh wow, so it's just an area, it's just a radial. Good to know. Razor Fury. Go ahead, dodge some attacks here. It's not going to stop me from just cutting you to pieces, sucker. Whoa. fancy looking stuff up in here. Oh, it's a Prance Elf longbow. I think I picked one of those up earlier. Yeah. Straight damage increase. No reason not to use it. Alright, I'm gonna clear the rest of this place out. Hey, jerk. Stick and move. Oh, I'm kind of surrounded here, aren't I? Battle Fervor. Razor Fury. Stick and move as an entry. Oh, it's already dead. Alright, so we're getting towards the end of the show here. I'm gonna do that other giveaway the other code for Dungeonmans here, so I am going to get that started right now. Hey, you jerk. Just everything whacking me now. Battle Fervor, Razor Fury, and I just killed them. Okay, that's it for this place. I'm gonna head back to where the boss died and teleport on out of here. You know, Homer Simpson's two favorite words are default. Which I kind of think you win by default here unless someone randomly sneaks in and has the right answer. Alright, back we go. More upgrades, more awesome. You there. shoulders. Congrats. Okay, well, everything that I'm not wearing can be melted down. Melt it all down. Upgrade hammers, such a nice system. Legendary or set piece, or heroic gear from fallen graduates. Okay. Just checking things. That's all. Actually, you don't have any blueprints, right? Right. I don't know how I get them blueprints. I guess those are things you'll find out in the world. Is there anything more in here? Any which functionality? This is the knowledge wall. The set pieces and legendary items. I would imagine they're in. Okay, so there's one last thing two last things I'm gonna do before I wrap up for the show here. One, I'm going to spend in here. Yeah, that'll be good. So get more ass whoopery going. To the overworld. Now the thing that I'm gonna do that I haven't done in the past is head to a town. These are all just little encounters, aren't they? I'll handle it. Oh. Maybe I should think about backing out of here. Attack down. That's no fun. It's a tiger. It's a tiger on top of a tiger. Yeah, battle fervor. Razor Fury. I win. Alright. That's a big old lizard, man. Aha, focus arrow. Aha, focus arrow. Aha, focus arrow. Hey, don't be chucking stuff at me, you jerk. That thing could actually kill me. So I'm gonna just go to the overworld. What I was looking for out here is another town. There we are. So I can go to the mayor and give them an item, and it boosts their economy. Overline inventory. I'm the best. Alright. Now let's see what kind of goodies they may have here. I can see what you have for sale. So it looks like the stuff that they have here is at the level of the gear that I'm using. See what you have. Oh, thank you. And I'd like to see what you have. Alright, so I increased the prosperity, so they've got slightly better stuff here, but nothing too special. How's this town's prosperity? 1 out of a maximum 9. Alright, so I think this town is a good place to wrap up here. So thank you all for coming through here. This has been Procedural Powerhouses, episode 20, Dungeonmans. Jim Shepard joined us earlier. He is the creator, the man behind the game here, the original winning mans. So it was awesome having him here. If you missed his stuff, I'll have a highlight up hopefully today, if not tomorrow, but you'll be able to just find the recording one way or another. And we will be back next week, same time, for probably a new game. Not sure which one, but it should be a lot of fun. So, that being said, this is the end of the show. I will see you folks later. Bye-bye.